Hello folks, this is Tom Martin. This is my lottery strategy game, Decoding the Powerball guessing game. I'm picking my numbers for the drawing on October 19th, 2019. If you'd like to get my game Decoding the Powerball, then please email me at decodingpowerball@gmail.com. Thank you, and please subscribe. Okay, so the object of my game is for you to correctly eliminate groups of numbers. There are 69 white ball numbers in the Powerball lottery. Only 5 numbers can come up as winners, so that means 64 numbers can't come up at all. So for me, I think it should be easier to pick the numbers that won't be coming up than the 5 that actually do. So to help me do that, I'm going to turn to the 5 strategies of my game. So strategies 1 and 2, the game card color code, and the 50-50 picks. Okay, so if you've never seen my videos before, why I make them is to show you on how to use my game. Okay, so what you're looking at here is what I call the game card. This is a format that I came up with that represents the 69 white ball numbers in the Powerball lottery. I really don't have anything for the Powerball itself. My goal is to get all 5 white balls correct and win the $2 million prize at the Power Play option. Okay, so first things first is I'm going to go to the Powerball homepage, and the 5 white winning numbers that just came up were the 1, 5, 25, 63, and 67. Again, I really don't care about the red ball. Okay, so what I do is I take those 5 white winning numbers and I put it at the top of this list, and now I'm going to find out what colors they were. Okay, so the 1 was orange, the 5 was red, the 25 was purple, the 63 was purple, and the 67 was green. Okay, so I'm going to color these in. So again, the 1 was orange, the 5 was red, the 25 and 63 were purple, and the 67 was green. Okay, so now I'm going to count how many colors I have. I have 2 purple, a green, red, and orange for 4 colors total. Okay, so up here I'm going to make this 375 color code drawings I kept track of so far. And now a 4 color combination has now come up 134 times. Okay, so what I want you to concentrate on here is the 3 color combination. This has come up 198 times out of 375 drawings. Okay, so if you do some quick math, you're going to see that a 3 color combination comes up more than half the time. Okay, and to me that's huge because long term, if I just keep on picking a 3 color combination, I know statistically I'm going to be correct more than half the time. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to make a new game card here. So I'm going to get rid of all these colors and start from scratch. Okay, so my color code is right here. Here's the red numbers, the orange, the green, the blue, and whatever's left over is purple. So what I did is I took the 69 white ball numbers, I divided it by 5 colors, and that's 1 color for each of the 5 white winning Powerball numbers, and that equals 13.8. So my goal is to get as close to as 13 or 14 numbers per color as possible, or a good representation of each color. Okay, so again, I'm going to start in with the red numbers, and the red numbers are the last 3 drawings of numbers. And the reason why that is because this will give me a maximum of 15 numbers. Okay, so again, I'm going to start it in with the 1, the 5, the 25, the 63, and the 67. The next line down is the 12, the 29, the 34, 53, and 65. And the last line is the 5, which is already taken. So the 18, the 33, the 43, and the 65, which is already taken. So again, I'm going to make these red numbers. And now I'm going to count how many I have. So I got 2 here, 3 are 5, 5 are 10, and 3 are 13. So up here, I'm going to make this 13. All right. So up here it tells me how many of each color I have on the game card. Okay. So moving on to the orange area here, I'm going to start in with the 6, the 14, the 36, the 51 and 54. The next line down is the 4, the 8, the 10, 43 is already taken, so the next one is the 53, and that's already taken as well. So the next line down is the 37. I'm sorry, it's the 15, 23, 34 is already taken, 51 is taken in the 55. And the last line is 37, which I have. 43 is already taken, so 44, 45, and 53 is already taken. So again, I got to make these orange numbers. And now I'm going to count how many I have. So I got 3 and 3 are 6, 4 is 10, and 4 is 14. So up here, I'm going to make this 14. Okay, so I think you get the gist of how I came up with the colors for my game card here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to scroll to the right just to speed things up. Okay, so here's the game card for October 19th, 2019. Okay, so you can see that there was 13 red numbers, 14 orange, 19 green numbers, 9 blue, and 14 purple numbers. Okay, so again, more than half the time, a 3-color combination comes up. Okay, so that means more than half the time, 2 colors are not coming up, and that's what I want to focus on here. Okay, so again, the object of the game is to eliminate groups of numbers. Okay, so the strategy here is to correctly guess what color group will not be coming up and eliminate that group of numbers off of the game card. Okay, so I do want to point out that all 5 colors have come up. It's come up 13 times out of 380 drawings. Okay, so it does come up, but it's very rare. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to make a prediction on what color group is not going to come up, and I'm going to eliminate those numbers off of the game card. Okay, so to help me make a decision, I'm going to turn to the next strategy called the 50-50 picks. Okay, so what you're looking at here is what I call the 50-50 picks. So again, there's 5 white winning Powerball numbers. Okay, so there has to be a majority of either odd numbers or even numbers, or numbers to the high side or numbers to the low side. So I like to keep track of that and try to correctly guess what the majority will be for the upcoming drawing. Okay, so what I use these 50-50 picks for is kind of like a roadmap to what I think would be the 5 white winning Powerball numbers. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm just going to update this here. Okay, so I'm going to make this 421, and this is how many drawings I kept track of so far. And basically, this goes back to October 7th, 2015. That's when the Powerball lottery went from 59 numbers to 69 numbers. Okay, so I'm going to go back to the game card and find out what numbers came up. So I got an odd, 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 and odd. So 5 odd numbers. So I'm going to make this a 5 right here and no even numbers. And here I'm going to make this 222. Okay, so out of 421 drawings, 222 drawings have been the majority of odd numbers, and 199 drawings have been the majority of even numbers. Okay, so what I like to do here is I like to break things down into 5. So again, it shows me that majority. Okay, so you can see out of this 5, the majority was odd numbers 3 drawings to 2, and before that it was odd numbers 4 drawings to 1. Okay, so what I'm going to do is make a prediction here. Okay, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to predict that this odds is going to keep on going. Okay, so I think the majority is going to be odd numbers. All right, so the thing about this game is that we're all going to look at this differently. Okay, so you may look at it and say, no, I don't think so. I think it's going to be more even numbers than odd. You know, so again, we're all going to look at it differently. But for me, I'm going to go with more odd numbers. Okay, so I'm just going to write that down to remind myself what I picked. And again, I think more odd numbers are going to come up than even. Okay, so moving on to the next one. This is high and low. All the numbers in red are considered high. All the ones in blue are considered low. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to predict that this low keeps on going as well. So I think the majority is going to be in the blue area here. Okay, so I'm going to be looking to the red area to eliminate numbers because I think there's only going to be a maximum of 2 numbers here in the red area. Okay, so I'm going to write that down as well. More numbers to the low side than the high side for me. Okay, so moving on. This is left and right. And here I had a hard time deciding what's going to happen. Okay, so I'm going to leave it alone. All right, it's all a gut feeling. And I just didn't have a good gut feeling to make a decision. Okay, so I don't have to pick at every single one of them. And the last one I have is this red and blue area here. And what I think is going to happen is I think there's going to be more numbers in this red area than the blue. Okay, so I'm going to write that down as well. More in the red than the blue. Okay, so now I'm going to make a decision on what color group I don't think is going to come up. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to go with no blue numbers. Okay, the first reason is because there's only 9 blue numbers. Okay, the second reason is because I think more numbers are going to be in that red area. Okay, and you can see all the blue numbers in that blue area of the 50-50 picks. Okay, so again, I think more numbers here in the red and less numbers here in the blue. So I'm going to get rid of all these blue numbers by blocking them out. Okay, so when I block out numbers like this means that I'm not even going to consider these numbers when I'm picking what I think would be the 5 white winning Powerball numbers. Okay, so what I'm doing here is I'm spending $3 on a Powerball ticket, which includes the power play. Okay, so in other words, I'm betting $3 that none of these blue numbers will come up in the next drawing. Okay, so if I'm correct with my bet and none of these blue numbers come up, then I'm one step closer to that $2 million prize. Okay, so moving on to the next strategy, and that's strategy number 3, the individual numbers. Okay, so what you're looking at here is what I call the individual numbers. Okay, so basically what I did is I took all 69 numbers and divided it into 7 different groups. Okay, so here's group number 1. It holds the numbers 1 through 9. Of course, this is the only group with 9 numbers where the other 6 have 10. Okay, so how this works is here's the winning Powerball numbers over here. Okay, so what I do is you follow this plane and you can see that I made this square orange, and I made it orange because the 1 is orange. Okay, and the 1 is orange because the color code said it was orange. Okay, so what I do is I like to break things down into 5, mostly so it shows me that majority. But here I broke it down into 5 for a couple reasons, okay? One is when I go back into the history, it's easier to count going 5, 10, 15, 20, and so on, okay? But my theory is that if there's a lot of hits within these 5 drawings, then maybe there won't be so many hits in the next 5 drawings, okay? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to reduce this down so you can see the whole card. Okay, so again, there's 7 groups here, okay? And there's only 5 white winning Powerball numbers, okay? So I know that 2 of these groups cannot have a winning Powerball number to it. So the strategy is try to correctly guess what group will not have the winning Powerball number to it and eliminate that group of numbers off of the game card, okay? So again, we're all going to look at this differently, but for me, I'm going to go with no teen numbers, okay? And I call it the teen numbers even though the 10 and 11 and 12 are in here, okay? So we're right here in the second row here. This is current. This is the next drawing, okay? So you can see that the teen numbers have been pretty hot through here. And plus it's come up with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 drawings in a row. So when that happens, I kind of think that it's going to miss a couple drawings in a row, okay? So that's what I'm hoping here. So again, I'm going to pick that no teen numbers are going to come up, and hopefully they don't. Okay, so I'm going to blow this back up and eliminate the teen numbers off of my game card. Okay, so I'm going to go back and I'm going to find these. So it starts with the 10, 11, 12, 14 to 16, 17, 18, and 19. So I'll get rid of those, and again, hopefully they don't come up, okay? So moving on to the next strategy. It's strategy number 4, picking the numbers I hope will miss from group 1. Okay, so what you're looking at here is what I call my group 1 numbers, okay? So basically what I did is I divided the 69 numbers into 4 different color groups here, okay? And when the winning Powerball numbers come up, I record where they land down here in the stats, okay? So I'm going to go through this right now. So the last drawing, it was the 1, which is in red, the 5 in blue. The 25 is right here in red as well. And the 67 is right here in red. So there's 3 red numbers. You can see that right down here. Okay, so there was 1 in the blue, the 5, okay? And there was one in the green, the 63, okay? So that means there is no winning Powerball numbers here in the orange area, okay? So the strategy is try to correctly guess where these zeros are going to pop up. Now, if I could have correctly guessed that none of these orange numbers were going to come up in the last drawing, I could have eliminated all these numbers and gave myself a much better chance at winning some kind of prize in the Powerball lottery, okay? So I have 15 of these option cards, and they all have the same colors as red, blue, orange, and green, okay? So what I do is I have a Group 1 overview, okay? So here, you can see in this orange area, I have a 6 with a blue behind it, okay? So what this means is that there was 6 zeros among the orange areas for all 15 option cards, okay? So if there's 4 or less zeros among all 15 option cards, like here in the blue, I color the background red for hot, okay? So if there's 5 or more zeros among all 15 option cards, I color the background blue for cold, okay? So I want that separation, because if I could correctly guess where a blue mark is going to pop up, that means at least 5 of these option cards are going to have a 0 to it in that certain color group, okay? So I'm not sure what's going to happen here. Usually I'll make a guess, but I'm drawing a blank here. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to add this up. 6 and 4 is 10, and 5 and 1 is 6. So there was 16 zeros among all these 15 option cards in the last drawing, okay? So there's usually plenty of zeros to choose from, okay? But this is really tricky to pick from. It starts out with 4 colors when there's 5 winning Powerball numbers, okay? So if all 4 colors are represented, I call this a row, okay? So that certainly could happen. So there's lots of variables here, okay, on what's going to happen. So, but if you could pick correctly where the 0 is going to pop up, you could eliminate a bunch of numbers here, okay? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to pick that number 10 blue is going to have the 0 to it, okay? So again, we're all going to look at this differently, but for me, why I'm picking this is because you can see this thing says no 3, okay? Now what that means is that there was no 3 zeros in a row for this column here in blue, okay? This is the last column for all 15 option cards where this column has never seen 3 or more zeros in a row, okay? So you can see that there's 2 of them here, and I think this next drawing it's going to happen. So I'm hoping that the 0 is going to be right here, okay? Which means I don't think that any of these blue numbers are going to come up in the drawing, so I want to get rid of them. And I'm going to get rid of them through the game card, okay? So I'm going to go back to the game card, and you can see this pattern of how it looks for all 4 squares. So I'll get rid of the 4 and the 28 here, the 22, the 36, 42, 40, 46, 54, and 64. So that was a big chunk of numbers, and hopefully none of those numbers come up, okay? So moving on to the next one. Again, I have 15 of these option cards, but I don't want to pick at every single one, okay? Picking at 1, maybe 2 at the most is probably the best odds, okay? So the next one I'm going to go with is... well, let's see here. The next one I'm going to go with is right here with 11, okay? The green area. Now you can see that this has hit 19 drawings in a row here, okay? So I'm hoping that it's due to miss, okay? And plus when you go back to the 50-50 picks, again, I think more numbers are going to be here in this red area than the blue. And when I come back to this group 1, you can see that the green is in, the green numbers are in that blue area, okay? So I know that's kind of confusing, but I'm going to get rid of the green numbers off of my game card. Okay, so it's the same pattern. So I'll get rid of the 33, 43, and 51, along with the 5 and 23 and the 29. So again, hopefully none of those numbers come up. Okay, so that's all I'm going to pick from group 2. I mean this group 1 here, but I'll show you the option cards, what they look like. Okay, so moving on to the next strategy. It's strategy number 5, picking the numbers I hope will miss from group 2. Okay, so we're almost done here. All right, so I got 15 of these option cards as well. Okay, and basically what you're looking at here is just like group 1 where I divided all the numbers into 4 different color groups. Here I divided things into 8 different color groups, okay? So it's just another way of looking at groups of numbers, all right? Except with this one, I know that there's only 5 white winning Powerball numbers, and there's 8 of these color groups. So I know that 3 of these color groups cannot have a winning Powerball number to it, okay? So the strategy is try to correctly guess what color group will not have the winning Powerball number to it and eliminate that group of numbers off of the game card, okay? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to update this here, okay? So again, the 1 came up, and that's in the red area. Then the 5, that's in purple. The 25 is right here, okay? Shares the square with the 65, okay? And the 63 is in gray, and the 67 is in orange, okay? So I want to go over to sharing the square here, okay? So as I go back to the game card, you can see that I have numbers, 5 numbers over here to the left, okay? And when I go back to this group 2 and with group 1 as well, you can see that there's no numbers over here to the left, okay? So what I wanted is I wanted this grid of 8 squares across and 8 squares down, okay? But that's only good for 64 numbers, and there's 69 in a lottery, okay? So what I did is I paired a couple of these squares up. I call it sharing the square. So the 8 shares the square with the 66, the 19 with the 67, the 25 and the 65, the 53 and the 69, and the 58 and the 68, okay? So all I'm doing is grouping up numbers, okay? So if none of these yellow numbers come up, it includes the 8 and the 66, okay? So if I want to get rid of these yellow numbers, I'm going to get rid of the 8 and the 66 along with all the other numbers as a group. So this is my way of grouping up numbers, okay? So again, I have 2 in the red, okay? I got 1 in the orange. I have 1 in the gray, 1 in the purple, and 1 in the gray, the 63. Okay, so 2 red, 1 orange, 1 purple, 1 gray. So down here is current, okay? So you can see that there was 2 in the red area, okay? 1 in the orange, 1 in the purple, and 1 in the gray. For 4 colors, for 4 groups that got hit, okay? Now, I colored the 4 red because the majority of the numbers are over here to the left side, okay? So if I'm going back into the history of things and I'm looking at this 5 for whatever reason, okay, I know that the majority of the numbers were over here to the right side because that 5 is green, okay? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to make a prediction on where I think the 0 is going to be, okay? So you can see that I have a red background here and a blue-black background here, okay? So basically what's going on here, again, I like to break things down into 5 so it shows me that majority, okay? So you can see here that the majority out of this 5 drawings was misses, 3-2, okay? So the majority is misses, so I colored the background blue for cold. And the next one down, you can see that the majority is hits, so I colored the background red for hot to give me that separation, okay? So why I do that is when I see something like this that has been really, really hot, well, I know it's going to cool down eventually. I just have to correctly guess when that's going to happen, okay? So for here, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go with, I don't think any green numbers are going to come up. I'm hoping that the 0 is going to be right here, okay? So again, there's going to be at least 3 of them, all right? So I'm going to go and eliminate these green numbers off my game card. And it runs down from the 4 down to the 60. So I get rid of the 20, the 44, and 52. So hopefully those numbers do not come up, okay? And moving on. Now that you know how things work, things should go a little bit quicker here, okay? So the next one I'm going to do is I'm going to pick the red area. And as I head down through, you're going to see that things got pretty hot down through here. So I'm hoping the 0 is going to be right here. And I'm going to get rid of these red numbers. And that runs from the 1 to the 66. So I'll get rid of the 1, 2, 6, 7, and 8 because the 8 shares the square with the 66. So I'll get rid of those numbers and hopefully they do not come up. Okay, so moving on to the next one. Option card 3, I'm going to go with red again. So here's the red, and as I scroll down through, you can see that thing's been really, really hot through here. And I'm hoping that there's going to be a blue streak here. So I'm hoping the 0 is going to be right here. And I'm going to get rid of these red numbers. And that runs to the 4 to the 28 and the 37 to the 61. So the 53 shares the square with the 69. So I'm going to get rid of that 53 as well. Okay, so moving on. Option card number 4. I'm going to go with no red numbers again. So here's the red. And as I scroll down through, you can see that things got pretty hot through here. And now I'm hoping that 0 is going to be right here. So I'm going to get rid of these red numbers. And that runs from the 5 to the 66 and the 33 to the 36. So I'm going to get rid of the 34 and 35. So moving on to the next one. Again, I have 15 of these option cards. So option card number 5, I'm going to get rid of the brown. So here's the brown. And as I scroll down through, going to see that things got pretty hot through here. And I'm hoping the 0 is going to be right here. So I'm going to get rid of these brown numbers right here. So you can see what that pattern looks like. And you can see there's nothing left. Okay. So here's the thing with this group 2. Okay. You can see that I picked from option card 5, no brown numbers. There was nothing to get rid of, okay? So instead of coming back to this option card 5 again, okay, and making another pick, what I'm trying to say here is that on average for all 15 option cards, it runs between 3.8 and 4.2, okay? So what I'm trying to say is, on average, 4 of these groups are going to have a hit to it, and 4 of these groups are going to have a miss to it, okay? So I came here to this option card 5. I picked brown. There's nothing to get rid of, okay? Now let's just say that my pick is correct, okay? And none of these brown numbers come up, okay? If I come back to this option card 5 and pick from another group here, the odds go way, way up that I'm going to get it wrong, okay? So I designed this to move on to the next option card where I have that 50-50 guess again, okay? So what I'm going to do here for option card 6 is I'm going to go with no blue numbers. So here's the blue area. And I'm hoping the 0 is going to be right here. And I'll get rid of these blue numbers. And that's the 4, 11, 20, 27 all the way down. So I'll get rid of the 27 and the 59. And hopefully those numbers do not come up. Okay, so moving on to the next one. That's option card 7. Again, I have 15 of these option cards, so we're almost done. Okay, so here's the orange. As I scroll down through, you can see that things were really, really hot. And now I'm hoping the 0 is going to be right here. Okay, so I'm going to get rid of these orange numbers. And that runs from the 41, 34, 43, 36 all the way across. So I'll get rid of the 41, the 38, and the 47. And hopefully those numbers do not come up. Okay, so moving on. Option card 8, I'm going to go with red again. So here's the red. And you can see how hot things have been here. So I'm hoping that the 0 is going to be right here. And I'm going to get rid of these red numbers. And that's the 5, 16, 21, 31 all the way down. So I'll get rid of the 31, the 48, and the 63. And again, hopefully those numbers do not come up. Okay, so moving on to option card number 9. I'm going to go with blue. So here's the blue again. And as I scroll down through, You're going to see that things got really, really hot through here, so I'm hoping the 0 is going to be right here. And I'm going to get rid of these blue numbers, and that's the 227 on the left side and 1621 on the right side. And there's nothing to get rid of here. Okay, so moving on to the next one. Option card 10. I'm going to go with brown. So here's the brown, and as I scroll down through, you can see that things got pretty hot through here, and I'm hoping that the 0 is going to be right here. And I'm going to get rid of these brown numbers, and that's the 1126, that pattern in all 4 squares. So I'll get rid of the 26, the 30, the 62, and the 68. I would get rid of the 58 as well if it was in, okay? So I'll get rid of that. Hopefully those numbers do not come up, okay? Moving on to 11. I'm going to go with red again, so here's the red. And as I scroll down through, you're going to see that things got really, really hot through here, so I'm hoping the 0 is going to be right here. Now get rid of these red numbers, and that's the 614, 1765, 3543, 5664. Okay, so I'm going to get rid of the 25 and 65 because they share a square, and I'm going to get rid of this 56. Okay, so I'm getting down there. I got 3 and 3 for 6 numbers. Okay, so going back, again, I have 15 of these option cards. So here with option card 12, I'm going to go with purple. And as I scroll down through, things got pretty hot through here. Okay, so I'm hoping that the 0 is going to be right here. And I'm going to get rid of these purple numbers. And that's the 6 to the 30 and the 34 to the 68. So I'll get rid of that 49. And that will bring me down to 5 numbers, okay? So the numbers I'm going to go with are the 9, 24, 39, 55, and 67. Okay, so I'm just going to highlight these. So again, I'm going to go with the 9, 24, 39, 55, and 67. Okay, so again, I thought there was going to be more odd numbers than even, and you can see that there's going to be 4 odd numbers if these numbers happen to come up. Okay, wanted more to the low side, so you can see that these 3 numbers will make that happen. Okay, and more to that red area, which was right here, and you can see that that will happen as well. Okay, so I think Sherlock Holmes said it the best when he said it's a matter of deduction, okay? So if these blocked out numbers do not come up, then these highlighted numbers have to come up, okay? So what are the odds that I made all the correct picks, okay? Let me go over the official odds, okay? For the grand prize, all 5 white ball numbers and the red ball number, the jackpot for that is up to 110 million, okay? The odds of winning that are 1 in 292 million and change, okay? My goal is to get all 5 white ball numbers correct, and what I mean by that is that the game is geared up for the white ball numbers. I love to win the grand prize, okay? The odds of just the 5 white balls are 1 in 11,688,000, okay? So, in other words, you can make nearly 12 million 5-number combinations out of 69 numbers, okay? So I don't want to give any kind of illusions that this is going to be easy to win, okay? It's more of a game that, for entertainment, okay? Helps you pick your numbers, okay? So another nice prize to win would be 4 white ball numbers and a red ball number. That pays $50,000 plus the power play. The odds of that are just about 1 in a million, okay? The smaller prizes, 4 white balls pays $100 plus the power play if you play it. 3 white balls is $7, and if you get the white ball correct, that's $4. Okay, so I just want to go over a budget. You can see that the higher prizes, the odds are astronomical. Okay, so I just want to say that if you spend $3 per drawing, there's 2 drawings per week. You would spend $312 per year on the lottery, okay? Just to give you some perspective, okay? So one last thing is I do have something for the Powerball number itself, okay? Basically, there's 26 numbers. So over here in this column, I just divided the numbers in two. So if you see a blue number, that means low, 1 to 13. If you see a red number, that's high, 14 to 26. Okay. Over here in this column, if you see a red number, it's odds. If you see a blue number, it's evens. Okay. So why I do this with the colors is when I see a streak of blue like this, well, I know it's going to turn red eventually. Okay. I just have to correctly guess when that's going to happen. All right. So here I'm going to make a prediction. Okay. I think that this is going to go back to red, all right, which means a high number of 14 to 26. And over here, I think that this is going to stay red as well. So I'm looking at a high odd number, okay? So I'm just going to be looking at the 15, the 17, the 19, 21, 23, and 25. Just those 7 numbers, okay, is what I'm going to concentrate on. I'm not sure which one I'm going to pick, but I'm going to just look at those, okay? So in closing, I want to thank you for watching, okay? If you liked my channel, then please I'm sorry about this. This is not what I was expecting. Kind of changed something here. So if you would like to support my channel, then please go to my Patreon page at www.patreon.com/Decoding the Powerball. Okay? And as always, I want to wish you the best of luck with your picks.